Good evening, everyone. Hi, my name's Arsh Ellahi. It's Sunday, the 16th of October at 8 p.m. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a good weekend. Um, Tonight, we're going to be talking about a topic that I'm quite passionate about how to build a property business which is going to give you an income of £5,000 a month, but without having to purchase the property. Now, it's quite would we say that it's quite an outrageous claim? But tonight we'll be showing you examples how to do it, who to do it, how we do it, and more importantly, how you can do it as well. So first of all, I want to just quickly check in, just that you can hear me nice and loudly and clearly. If you can just give me a quick hello, who are you, and what your experience is in property, that would be great, and it would give me a good indication as to who we got online tonight. Okay, let's just have a quick look. Okay, so we've got Chris online. Okay, if you wouldn't mind, Chris, just letting us know a little bit about your experience, what you currently do in property at the moment, and where you want to be, that would be fantastic. Okay, so whilst I'm waiting for some of you to type that in, first of all, I'm going to say thank you for trusting me with your time this evening. I appreciate Sunday evening. Sunday evening is a time for family, but more importantly, time's the most precious commodity. And I guarantee that the next 90 minutes is going to be the best 90 minutes of education that you're going to have. So, quick hi to Shankri, quick hi to John, quick hi to Chris and Paul. So, we've got a few people completely different spectrums. So, we've got some people who are complete beginners in property. And we've got some people who have got 20 years or so experience in property. So, okay, it's a real mixed bag tonight, and it's really good to see. So, in just under 90 minutes, you're going to exactly how to make £5,000 a month, every month as a property consultant, just working alone at the weekend. And so the question that's got to be asked is that why should you be here on a Sunday evening listening to me? Now, for those that don't know, I'm the author of an Amazon bestseller, which is a book called Boom, Bust and Back Again. It's a property investor's survival guide. I wrote that, and it was published in 2015, launched on Father's Day in memory of my father. Now, I've been involved in property, I should say that all proceeds of that book go directly to Cantor Macmillan. So it's something that I'm very passionate about, and the reason why I've done that is purely because my father taught me everything that I knew about property. He was diagnosed with cancer in February 2014 and passed away 3 weeks after diagnosis. So 2015 was a tough time, and I'm going to share a bit of that story with you in a short while. But with regards to property, I've been involved in property 16 years. When I say 16 years, I've actually been involved in property pretty much all my life, because my father had a small property portfolio. When I left university in the year 2000, I rapidly grew that business. We've now got I think we've now got a portfolio of 12 property businesses, which vary from a number of all different property activities. But I've been involved full-time in property for 16 years. So you could say that I've seen it all and heard it all, but more importantly, as the title of my book suggests, boom, bust, and back again. I very nearly went bust in the crunch of the credit crunch, but I managed to hold on to my business by the skin of my teeth. We're now back to possibly the strongest position we've ever been. And tonight, one of the strategies that I'll be talking about that I'm quite passionate about is one that allowed us to survive. So I've been trading property since I was 21 years old and made £6 million in just 3 years. So last year, 2015, as we've all now know, was a pretty tough year because from my father, how it all went is that now I'll let you into a little story. So I know these dates, and these will be etched on my heart for the rest of my life. So a week in February was possibly the toughest week of my life, because on Monday the 8th of February, I'd been granted, or sorry, granted, gifted with my second daughter. So Monday morning, completely over the moon that being gifted with a second daughter. Now, on Friday, the 13th of February, my father said to me, son, he goes, I'm not feeling too good. He goes, I've got something which is quite irritating on my chest. He goes, would you mind just quickly running me up to A&E? And I go, yeah, sure. I said, anything to do with your chest, obviously, I want to get it checked out as quickly as possible. Now, I went up to the hospital and said, Mr. Ellahi, he goes, we can't really see anything on your chest, but we've seen something down towards your liver. And he goes, a bit of a cloud. He goes, you mind if we check it out? I said, no, doctors. I said, do whatever you need to do. Obviously, want to see if we can get this resolved as quickly as possible. If there's something that's wrong, let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can get it rectified. And having done a few tests, they put them in some tests pretty much straight away, and they said that they reckon it was cancerous. Now, that was a bit of a shock because obviously 5 days before, I was elated with the fact that I'd had a daughter. And then 5 days later, my father, who's my best friend, my business partner, my mentor, has now been diagnosed with cancer. And I said, well, doctors, I said, so what can we do? They go, we reckon it's gone a bit too far for any kind of help. So we said, a best case scenario, you're looking around 12 months of life left. Now that hit me with a massive, it's almost like a punch in the face because 1 minute I've been granted or gifted with a life, next minute they're saying that they're going to take another important life away from me. And then from that point, so unfortunately, Monday morning, 16th of March at 5 a.m., my father lost his fight for cancer. So I decided last year that I wasn't really going to work much. So he passed away in March. My daughter was born in Feb. So between Feb and March, I didn't do any work, looking after my daughter, looking after my father. And I decided that I wasn't going to work for the rest of 2015. Now, having mourned for a couple of weeks, my mum sat me down and she goes, son, she goes, your dad doesn't want to see you hanging around like this. She goes, your dad was a hard worker. She goes, get out there and start working and make him proud. So one of the strategies that I know how to do really well, obviously we've got a number of strategies that we run from my offices. So we've got rent-to-rent portfolio, we've got my own portfolio. So I've got a portfolio of around 650 tenants. So we've got a decent portfolio. We've got a rent-to-rent portfolio of 32 properties. We've got a property trading business. We've got a group of letting agencies. We've got a property maintenance arm, and we've got an portfolio builder arm for other investors. So we are really busy. But I decided that I was only going to focus on deal trading last year, and I traded between April. Remember, my father passed away in March. I decided to go back to work in April. And between April and December, we traded 140 deals. And this was all done from properties that I don't own. I had no intention of owning. I've literally just, well, not even acquired, but we've assessed and we've sold the deal. And so you could say that I'm a property investor, trainer, and mentor, and I've helped hundreds of people that are hungry for change to achieve financial freedom. I was actually running a rent-to-rent seminar earlier today. So Rajesh says, cannot see the webinar, only the sound is coming through. Rajesh, can everyone else see the slides? Because if I think you may be the only person. Rajesh, if that's the case, log yourself out, log yourself back in. Okay, so everyone else there that can see them. If you can't see it, if you're having a bit of a technical glitch, what I do suggest is log yourself out, log yourself back in. Hopefully that should sort itself out. Right. Okay, so when we talk about the big short, people always talk now, over the last couple of weeks, I've been watching a lot of the social media forum, and a couple of the guys who I would think are quite well-known investors, they've started actually dabbling in Forex markets and Forex markets and the stock exchange. I just can't believe it, because when they're looking at it, they're walking into something which I believe is the unknown. But what I believe is that better, with property trading, you can actually make a fortune whilst the masses cling to a false belief. Now, you could say that's pretty much a bit like Forex because what you're doing, you're actually betting against the housing market, which was seen as insanity up until September 2008. People would think, well, why would you trade property? Why don't you keep it? It's going to be a long term, it's always going to be a long term gain. But for those that suffered the crash like I did in September 2008, that can pretty much near enough wipe you out. Does that make sense? So I decided to change our strategy. We're still buying stock for ourselves personally, but we also have got now a cash generating machine, which is now the property trading machine. Everyone says buy, keep, and hold, where what I'm saying is observe the masses and do the opposite. Now, one thing that my business studies teacher told me from very early on, two things called supply and demand. Understand what the demand is and supply them with it. Now, we've got all these people who are property investors all around the country, all looking for deals, all looking for stock. And so I just thought, well, why don't we just supply them? They're looking for it, they're wanting to buy it. All we've got to do is find them stock and sell them stock. Because I believe cash flow is the key to freedom and happiness. Would you agree with that, guys? So far, is there anything that you think I've said that you disagree with? And by all means, this is not a webinar, this is discussion. What I want you guys to do is interact with me. So I know that you guys will cater this webinar completely according to how you want it to go. You know, the whole point of it is that I want to see that you guys are actually following this. Now, moving on. I'm a firm believer that you could run a number of strategies. Now, a couple of strategies that we're going to be talking about today: property trading and rent to rent, which means that you don't actually own any of the assets. So, I believe that you can make a fortune whilst the masses cling on to a false belief. Everyone wants to own it. Everyone wants to go off, and it's pretty much now in the property industry almost become like a trophy. I own this many properties. I've done this many deals. Now, I've been across networking meetings across the whole country. I mean, this week I'm traveling the country again. I'm doing 2 talks in London on Wednesday and Thursday this week. So again, here's an opportunity if you want to meet for a coffee. Probably happy to do so as long as you let me know in advance. But whereas everyone's saying that I own this many properties, I'm doing this many deals, I'm not really falling for any of that, because I'm a big believer that they're clinging onto a false belief, and now we're about to go into recession. Who knows what's going to happen with the property market? Is it going to crash again? Are prices going to fall again? What's going to happen? Are people going to fall into negative equity? We've now Section 24 is going to come in. The additional taxation. Is it a false belief that property is a fail-safe thing to be in? Because finding below market value deals is not difficult when you follow a proven system and you take consistent action. And we're going to be showing you how to do that. Now, when we talk about property trading, we're not talking about buying the property, owning it, and then selling it on, or even doing a refurb. There's a great way of actually just sourcing the lead and selling it. And what you can do is you can actually replace your salary very quickly by doing this. I'm going to give you some examples in a short while as well. Well, as you'll see, some have done it in just 1 month. So why trade deals? Now, just so that I know who we've got online, what's your idea? What's your idea of financial freedom, or what's that figure that you need to be at for financial freedom? So, if you had to leave your job and you were to be financial free, what is that figure? Is it £30,000 a year? Is it £50,000 a year? Is it £100,000? So John's coming straight away with a figure straight away: £6,000 a month, £2,500 a month, £5,000 a month. Okay, so it varies anywhere between £2,500 and £5,000 a month, and £6,000's been the hottest figure so far. Okay, so one person's put 1k a week. Okay, 5k a month. Right. So we've got some good figures there, and they are achievable, because by trading deals, it's fast, it's cheap, and when I say it's low risk, In actual fact, it's no risk. Because the fact is, you haven't bought it. All you've done is you've simply sourced a lead, and now you go off and try and sell the lead. Which means that if you don't find anyone to buy it, which should be a rarity, depending on how good your deals are, you should be able to sell everything. There'll be no bills, no maintenance, no hassles, no tenants, believe it or not, which is a good thing. Now, but remember, we'll be talking about rent to rent shortly, so I don't want to go down the route of slagging tenants off. But the good thing is that by finding the deal, sourcing the deal, appraising the deal, you can create holiday sales bundles of cash. Now, when you go away on holiday, I'm assuming each holiday costs circa between 3 and 5 grand, depending on how big your family, how big your family is. It could go up to 10 grand. You can make this kind of cash in 1/2 deals. Now, some of you guys have said that you want between 2 to 5 grand a month. Now, all technically speaking, guys, and I'll be completely honest with that, that is so realistic, it's untrue. You should be able to make 5 grand a week. That's what you should be aiming for. Now, just to give you an example, I'll be showing you the 3-step formula: how to find a deal, how to agree a price, and how to sell the deal. And I'll be showing you how to find houses that won't sell. Because believe it or not, when people say, well, you can't get a deal off an estate agent, or why would that vendor give me that deal? Believe it or not, estate agents want, well, no, actually, here's a quiz for you. And I want everyone to participate in this. What do estate agents do? If you wouldn't mind, I'm going to just pause for 30 seconds, and I want every single one of you to answer that question. So what is it that estate agents do? So Chris has come straight in and he goes, okay, Kenny says that estate agents lie. Okay, so Chris says that they find buyers. Rod says sell properties, let and sell houses, build relationships, find workers, sell. Okay. So Saturday goes, looks after the vendor, gets the best price. Okay, so everyone's got the gist. Estate agents sell properties. That's exactly what they're after. And believe it or not, all agents pretty much work on the basis that they only get paid once they've sold the property. So now, on that basis, if you were to go to any estate agent, tell them what you do and what kind of style of property that you want, but be upfront with them. Don't say, hi, my name is John Pocock, or my name is Anthony or Said. Yeah, I'm a cash purchaser. I'm looking for 25% BMV deals. Guess what? Do you know how many times the estate agent has heard that? Do you know how many times the estate agent has switched off from listening to people telling them that? Do you know how many times the estate agent has been let down by people who say that they're cash purchasers and they can't find the funds to do the deal? We have to now start talking about building trust and rapport. It's not a case of saying, hi, my name's Syed, I'm looking for deals only 25% plus below market value. I will look at anything in any location, in any condition. Because, guys, everyone... Okay, so Rajesh has come and goes, Arsh, I'm an estate agent, so you will spot on with your answer. Thank you very much for being online tonight, Rajesh. I'm hoping that what we're going to be saying is actually going to resonate with you as well. Because what estate agents want to do, they want to sell properties. Now, the way that I build rapport and trust with them is, you know, although I buy properties off them, I say to them, well, guys, if you've got stock, how about if you allow me to try and find you a buyer as well? It's not going to cost you guys any money. I will find the buyer and I will make my fee off the buyer, and you, as the estate agent, make your fee off the seller. Now, what do you think an estate agent would say at that point? They don't have to do any work, but yet they're still making the same commission. All we've got to do is identify the properties. At that point, the estate agent, the floodgates will open and they will be showing you all the stock that they've got. Now, admittedly, you're not going to be able to find a buyer for all of them straight away because you haven't got the key and the knowledge so far. And not only that, as a result, if they start feeding you deals, if you sell them, perhaps there may be a way that you can pay them a commission as a thank you for them giving you all these deals. Now, Rajesh, who's an estate agent. Now, Rajesh, if I said to you, Rajesh, I'm going to try and find you a buyer for your stock. I don't want to know who your vendor is. I don't care about the vendor. I want you to look after the vendor. I will find you a buyer. We will need to show them around the property, providing that they're happy. They pay me my finder's fee. I will then put you in direct contact with you as the estate agent, and you would deal with it as a traditional conveyance, as a traditional sale. They will then do all their bits and pieces. How do you think the estate agents would react in that? Now, for everyone else on the webinar, how do you think the estate agent would react to that? Do you think they'd be happy with that? The fact that they've now got a buyer for a property that they haven't had to go out and market, do all the viewings, etc. It's created a win-win scenario. It's created a win-win so that the vendors won, the estate agents won, you have won, and also the purchasers won. Because where else would they have found out about that deal if you weren't in the centre? It's easy work. Everyone is happy. And remember, you're not going in and you're not offering 25% below market value and you're not going off and do that, because there are ways of actually doing it where you become your free sales force. You'll remember, estate agents, regardless of what people say, they are still a powerful source. 90% of all houses in the UK are sold through estate agents. When a house doesn't sell itself, they will need you, but more importantly, they will be calling you pretty much on all the deals that you got on the basis that you're going to be able to help them. Okay, Rajesh thought, hi Arsh, I would be over the moon. It would be a win-win for everyone. So Rajesh, I'd like to speak to you tomorrow, because if you've got deals, we've got buyers, and this is exactly what we're talking about through tonight. Now, so that's estate agents. Remember, there's deals all over the country. It all depends on how receptive you are to them. Now, the next thing is direct to vendor. How do you make the phone ring? What do you say when it does ring? Now, there's lots of ways to attract vendors to call you. Now, there's the traditional method, leaflets, posters, newspaper ads, and Facebook ads. We'll be going through these. And the simple and still one of the most common things to do is to put a leaflet out. But when you put a leaflet out, obviously, have you ever heard of the marketing term ADA? ADA means attention, interest, desire, and action. And if you don't have all four of those points on there, it's not going to have the same appeal. So you've got to understand, what do you write on them? And traditionally, and I say traditionally, the most effective leaflet has been a plain yellow one, which has been attractive. Now, I've seen some really creative leaflets over the years, and you would say that, yes, they look very nice, etc., but do they work? The fact is, have you ever heard of the saying, if it's not broken, do not fix it? So, first of all, you've got to grab the vendor's attention. You've got to put a headline that asks a question. You need to understand, you've got to ask that question, do you need to sell your house fast? Are you struggling to sell your house? Now, I'll give you an example. Now, it's not to do with a leaflet, because in the heyday of the market, prior to 2007, we were buying 30, or should I say, we were trading 30 properties a month. And shall I tell you my best ever marketing strategy? My best ever marketing strategy was that for those that know Wolverhampton quite well, there's a well-known supermarket called Asda, and right opposite Asda, there was, as you came out of the Asda car park, you were confronted with the Wolverhampton Wanderers football ground, and they had a spare piece of land that was almost like no man's land. So I approached them to put a massive, almost like a mini billboard, facing as soon as you came out of the car park. And it went on there. What did it say? It says, "We buy property and land. Can we buy yours?" Now, then it had my company name and it had my phone number or even a text phone number. And what we did, we even had to open our office on Saturday and Sundays to deal with the demand of the calls. Saturday and Sundays were our busiest days for that day. People would go shopping, they would come out into the car park. They couldn't miss our sign. Now, I paid a premium for that, but even though we paid, I think off the top of my head, it's about £6,000 a year, which is equivalent to roughly around £120 a week. But to be fair, the amount of deals that we bought simply off that one board, it's well into the hundreds of properties. So we're asking a question just by the headline. Now, excuse me, the second part of the leaflet is to basically demonstrate that you show and you understand their situation. Are you struggling to pay your bills? Are you looking to move away? Are you just looking for a quick sale? How many adverts have you seen like this? Then you put in there, how is it that you can help as an investor? Now remember guys, if you're going to put in there that you're a fast cash purchaser you can complete within 14 days, you've got to make sure that you can do that. Because pretty similar to like what you've done with the estate agent. If you're going to go in there and say, well, you're going to offer them 25% below market value, and then you're going to drag it out for 6 months because you haven't got the funds, and you've either got to go off and pull the funds together from auntie, uncles, and friends, or you're trying to sell the deal on. You've got to make sure that what you're offering, you can deliver on. Now, other benefits. Remember, this is the part that you offer, which is called the benefits section. Benefits, so that it's a cash purchase. You'll pay the legal fees. They can move when you want. Now, I run a company called We Buy Properties Fast. We were the first property trading company in the whole of the UK to have high street presence. I should have put a picture of our office actually on the slides. That would have been quite good. We've still got the high street office, and we get lots of people walk through our doors every day. Because one of our USPs is that instead of calling a one-man band off a mobile phone, why don't you walk into our office? And we'll sit down, we'll have a cup of tea, and we'll talk about what the solution to your problem is. And then you've got the call to action, which is basically, they always say put a woman's name, because they believe that women are more trusted than call Paul or call John. And make your phone number huge, and there's only one call to action. So never put your phone number and email address or text number. It's only got to be one thing. Now, previously, there's been lots of questions asked. Is a landline number better? Is a mobile phone number better? Is a text number better? And there's no right or wrong answer. Now, when I was actively marketing prior to 2007, we were advertising in every publication in the not in the UK, in the West Midlands. So there wasn't a publication that you would be able to open and not see our company in there. Now, remember, my HQ was based in Wolverhampton. So what we did do is, for all the different locations, so around Wolverhampton, you've got Wolverhampton, Walsall, Sandwell, Dudley, Birmingham, Sutton Coldfield, Telford, and Burton. There's lots of little pockets of the West Midlands, even heading out towards the East Midlands. What we would do, we would generate a local phone number for each of those locations, but they would all divert back to HQ in the Wolverhampton area, because people like dealing with local companies. And when people would call that, let's say Dudley number 01384 number, they would come to our Wolverhampton, then our admin team would, hi, welcome to We Buy Properties Fast, how can we help? And we've got a whole spiel of how we used to take them through the process. And then they would ask the question, are you, where are you currently based? And then we would arrange for a home visit. For argument's sake, if it's Wolverhampton, we'd invite them into our HQ. But if it was anywhere out of Wolverhampton, we would then go and visit them at the property. So, what do you say when the phone rings? Because naturally, the phone is going to ring. By some of the strategies that I'm going to be teaching you, the phone is going to ring. How do you dodge the bullet? And when we say dodge the bullet, the first thing that people want to know is, what are you going to be offering me for my house? Now, for argument's sake, now you you've got two different objectives here. One objective is that you want to get your foot through the door. The other objective is, or the vendor's objective is that they want to know how much you're going to be offering them. How is it that you get around that? Because ideally you need to agree a price, but you don't want to set it over the phone, because if you set it over the phone, and let's just say that you are looking to generate a discount, how can you build rapport over the phone? You need to get yourself a viewing in that property. So you need to understand what is it that they want, and then you've got to understand what is their problem, where's their pain, where's their motivation, and then you've got to figure out what is it that you can do and what do they need to move. When we say what do they need to move, is it basically why do they need to move? Is it because they've got equity in the deal and they're upscaling, they're downscaling? Do they need that money for a deposit for the next house? Do they need to then clear unpaid bills? Because there's lots of ways that you can do it. And the question is, you're understanding why is it that they need to move. Once you understand why they need to move, you then can start to open up a number of different questions. Like, for argument's sake, today we're talking about deal trading, but once you understand why they need to move, you're putting their reason why in their hands faster than anyone else. You're not buying their house. You can then start to ask questions about, could it be a rent-to-rent deal? Could it be a lease option deal? Could it be an exchange delay completion deal? Could there be a development opportunity there? Being a property investor is not about being a one-trick pony and just only offering below market value deals. You've got to have a number of tools in your toolbox so that every deal that you go to pretty much is about understanding their need and finding a solution to their problem. So what is the no money down property investment strategy? Because we've come up with two proven ways to invest in property no money down. How to generate holiday sized bundles of cash working just at the weekend and creating a regular income as safe as a salary, managing properties that you don't own. And that is predominantly the rent-to-rent strategy. Now, on the holiday-sized bundles of cash, I've got 5 direct-to-owner sourcing strategies that give you the deal flow to meet your goal cash flow needs. And I'll also be showing you the estate agent secrets, how to build an army of sourcing agents that work for free. I'll also be showing the negotiation secrets to close more deals with bigger discounts and creating a win-win for the homeowner, and showing you how much do they need to move, how to calculate this, and how to sell the deal, the value of it to a homeowner. 3 different ways to sell your deals for cash in less than 5 days, and the fastest and easiest ways to sell your deals. One of them, believe it or not, is Facebook, which is free. But what other ways and what makes them better? Now, so we've talked about the pocket size of the cash, and we're going to come back onto that in a second, because the second strategy that I want to talk about is rent-to-rent. What is rent-to-rent, and how to get started fast, cheap and safely, and how to find landlords that are desperate for your help? Because am I right in believing that you guys are on this webinar because A, you either want to make pockets of cash, or you want to make money from property without actually owning the property? Because that's the key. Now, when you look at all the businesses in the world today, look at all the largest businesses in the world. So, first one, notably, is Facebook. Facebook is, well, without a doubt, the biggest company in the world, but they don't have any. They don't have any content. So someone's just said that they've just lost sound. If you can just quickly check in just to make sure that you can all hear it nice and loudly, that'd be great. So Facebook doesn't own any content. Now Airbnb, believe it or not, doesn't actually own any accommodation. All they're doing is putting the owner in contact with the customer. Does that make sense? So they don't actually own any accommodation, and all they're doing, they're charging a fee for it. As well as Uber. Uber don't actually own any taxis. All they're doing is they're putting the taxi driver in contact with the person wanting the taxi. And so when you look at it like that, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic strategy. We'll be looking at how to give struggling landlords everything they want and more, so that they'll practically crawl across broken glass to have you manage their property. And how to profit from the surge in tenant demand. The simple formula to make your advert stand out in a crowded market. Because when people are dealing with rent, I don't know about you guys, but especially we're seeing it in Wolverhampton, it is becoming a crowded market. So what we have to do, we have to be a little bit more strategic with the way that we market to keep our properties occupied. Lots of investors are coming to Wolverhampton. I don't know if there's other training companies saying that Wolverhampton's a gold mine area, but they are coming. And so what we need to do, we need to stay on top of our game to make sure that we're full. So what do today's professional tenants want? And how do we create a luxury accommodation on a shoestring budget? Because one thing we're just going to briefly talk about now is the systems to grow your business on autopilot. They'll save you time, save you stress, save you mistakes, and make it easier for you to outsource your repetition and mundane tasks. How to build your income and the property empire at the speed of your ambition. The no excuses way to invest in property, made easy. Now, I'm just going to put that out there. Normally it is 495. Now, let's talk about selling the deal. Now, who wants it? Where can you find them? And how do you present the deal in a way that inspires trust? Now, who wants a deal? So Simon's coming straight away. He's going to ask a question about what's the legal aspects of setting up a rent-to-rent business, e.g. insurance and membership of professional bodies. If it's okay, Simon, I'll touch on that shortly. Now, who wants a deal? Now, when you're selling a deal, you guys, I'm hoping, are all active and involved in property. Now, what is it that you would want in a deal? Think about it for a second. Now, you're a property investor. If you had the opportunity of receiving emails or a phone call from a sourcer, what would the ideal deal look like? Okay, so Alex has come in straight away, BMV. But Alex, at what level of BMV? Is it 10%? Is it 15%? Is it 20%? Is it 25%? Are you working on a yield basis? Are you working on a return on investment basis? There's so many different variants to this. Now, how can you find them? How do you present the deal in a way that inspires trust? Now, guys, I'm hoping that you guys have all come through on this webinar purely on the back of seeing an email off me. Now, I appreciate we're having a few technical issues if you've received multiple emails, so we're in the process of dealing with that. So, John has come in and he says, high cash flow. Rod has said potential profit. Now, Alex has said that he wants a minimum of between 25 and 30% BMV. Because what, in essence, as a property trader, what you're doing is selling gold at a discount. Because this is so unbelievable, you first need to make me believe that the gold is real, then tell me why you are selling is cheap. Does that make sense to everyone? Because do you sometimes see a deal and think, that's too good to be true? And more importantly, if it's that good, why is he selling it? Now, you'll see a lot of deals that, I've actually got a deal that came through today in Washington, which is right up north, I think towards County Durham way. And you can actually buy the flat on a leasehold for 10 grand. And it rents out for £300 a month minus service charge and ground rent. And after that, it'll approximately cash flow around £200 a month. But it's cheap. 10 grand for a flat. Now, where else would you find that anywhere else in the country? Would you in London? You can't even get a garage for 10 grand. Now, who wants it? Now, for 10 grand, would you say that a first-time buyer would be interested in it? Would you say investors would be interested in it? I would like to think that anyone who wants to buy a property would be interested in a deal like that. Would you agree? Now, just out of curiosity, if someone offered you a one-bedroom flat for 10 grand, what's the first thing that comes through your mind? if I was to put this in a format to you guys, where I'm saying Washington, 1 bedroom flat, £10,000 plus the sourcing fee. So let's just say 12 grand capital input. But it will rent out for £300 a month. Then after you've netted out, okay, so Chris straight away. Okay, so first of all, Sarita and Chris have both come out with what's a catch and what's wrong with it. Believe it or not, guys, there's nothing wrong with the flat. It's actually in very good condition. I've seen the photos of it today. And it's actually ready to let. We've got excuse me, we've actually got agents in place that are going to be managing it at 10%, and it's all ready to go. The vendor is extremely motivated, and so Emma's put that in Washington. Yeah, that you would say that's kind of standard price. So it depends what it is, but there are locations out there that are cheap around the country. The areas, only cash buyers agree with that, because you can't get a mortgage for anything less than 40 grand. Because what we're doing, we're hanging the fruit low for property investors. What we're doing, we're dangling the carrot. They know that savvy people like you can do what they can't. Find B&B deals. Now, every day we find either a B&B deal, a rent-to-rent deal, a service accommodation deal, a lease option deal. Now, over this week, you're going to see a number of deals that we've put together. So, side port, is there any tenant demand in Washington? Believe it or not, we've actually got a tenant waiting to go in, but we're just waiting on a purchaser. Waiting on a purchaser just to make sure that they actually want a tenant to go in there. So yes, there is. So keep moving on. So where can you find buyers? Now, first of all, first port of call, it is free. But remember, with free, that comes associated with free, is that you're going to get a lot of tire kickers, you're going to get a lot of time wasters, you're going to get a lot of people that talk a big game and deliver very little. There are Facebook groups. Now, admittedly, some of these groups offer great value for content. So there's a UK Property Traders group, there's a BMV group, and between them, they've got the best part of 40,000 members. Potentially, that's 40,000 property investors that you can get yourself in front of just by getting a deal and putting it back out there. And you could make yourself some cash. Now, alternatively, you have to become known to the community before you can sell your deals. You have to give value to the group on a regular basis. And you have to manage to dig your well before you are thirsty. 2 months minimum before you can sell your deals. Because you have to play by their rules. You can't just get a deal, stick it out on Facebook and hope to sell it. Because guess what, guys? You're going to get banned very quickly. Now, here's the option. I'm allowing you, for the guys that are on this webinar and are going to join me shortly, I've got investor database of the best part of 100,000 property investors across the country. And I know that my list buys because we sell to them every week. Now, guys, you guys are on my database. How many deals do you see that I put out every week? Minimum 3, sometimes 5, stroke 6. And they're all looking to buy B&B properties. So I've got a property investor database that you guys could JV with me. If you've got a great deal, let me help you sell it. But first, I need to teach you how to become the ideal property investor. So the second way of no money property investment is to create a regular income, which is as safe as a salary, managing properties that you don't own. Again, I'll be showing you the estate agent secrets, the negotiation secrets to bring bigger deals, and how much do they actually need to move. Now, moving forward, what is rent to rent and how can we get started fast, cheap and safely? How to find struggling landlords with everything that they want and more. Now, does everyone know what rent to rent is, just before we go on? Because let's just take this, okay, so Ayula, hopefully I've pronounced that, okay, so I'm just making sure that we've got everyone on the right page because I want to make sure. Rent to rent. is basically a format where you rent. Well, technically speaking, you take a property on the land off the landlord on a property management agreement, and you rent it out by the room. Now, the reason why I said property management agreement and not a lease or not a tenancy is because you need to adhere to quite a few regulations. So it might be the mortgage, the landlord's mortgage conditions. You may need to adhere to the landlord's buildings insurance. You may need to adhere to the landlord's freeholders conditions. And by doing it on a management agreement, you manage to adhere to all those, because it pretty much is as if you're running it as a letting agency. So everyone pretty much has said that they've heard about what rent-to-rent is. Now, by running a property on a rent-to-rent, you can create yourself a regular income as safe as a salary. Now, does anyone do rent-to-rent that's on the webinar so far? Because rent-to-rent is a great strategy. Now, the reason why we're talking about the two strategies here, because you're thinking that they're completely different ends of the spectrum. One is talking about making pocket-sized lumps of cash. The other one is talking about probably a slow and long-term strategy. Believe it or not, guys, that's the key to any successful property business. The fact that you've got one business making you pockets of cash, the other one is then a slow burn but a steady income throughout the years. So you've got short-term and long-term strategy. The short-term strategy is the pockets of cash, which will then allow you to acquire either properties to buy for yourself or take on more rent-to-rents, do them up and generate more cash. Personally, if it was me and if I was to start again, I wouldn't buy a single property. Yes, I may benefit from capital growth, but let's face it, guys, Wolverhampton isn't exactly London, and you're not going to benefit a great deal from capital growth unless you buy well. Does that make sense? So why buy property when you can literally make the same amount of money, if not more, simply by controlling it? Use your short-term cash to fund your long-term transactions. And they go hand in hand. Sometimes you may not be able to always help every vendor that you go to. So I've got a strategy called the buy, sell or rent. If I can't buy it off them, can I sell it for them? If I can't buy it or sell it off them, can I rent it off them? And I'll be talking to you about that. Now, I'm going to talk to you about the most outrageous discount, because normally when I do workshops like this, I normally charge circa around $497, and I could even ask you for 10% off your first deal. But for tonight only, I'm saying that we're doing a workshop for £47. Okay, so Sarita says, I can't seem to get any deals locally. Sarita, can I let you into a little secret? You're not looking hard enough, or you're not looking in the right places. Now, what I'm going to be talking about now for the next few minutes is that on the 19th of November 2016 in Birmingham, I'm going to be holding a one-day seminar, which is only £47, and we're going to be showing you how to find deals and how to approach deals, not only direct to vendor, but also working with estate agents, and also how to find landlords via the rent-to-rent strategy. So we're going to pretty much be going through 3 whole strategies in a day, and you can have the whole day for £47. Now, all you've got to do is click the link below, which is bit.ly/NMD, which stands for No Money Down Property Investment, because that's what we're going to show you, how to generate cash reserves from properties that you don't own. And I'm so confident that we're going to be delivering a content-rich day that you can attend the whole day, and if you're not completely satisfied with the event, all you've got to do is tell me at the end of the day, and you get a full refund of your £47. No questions asked, no problem at all. Now, here's what you're going to do next. All you're going to do is click that link. So on the 19th of November 2016, location is Birmingham. We're yet to confirm the hotel. And it really is as simple as that. Are there any questions on anything that we've talked about so far? Because remember, guys, we're going to be very limited to the numbers that we can hold on this. Now, here's a person that I started working with in February 2016. Now, for those that know her, or you may have seen her around some of the networking events, this is Vicky Hughes. Now, Vicky learned how to source and trade deals with me in February 2006. She sold her first deal 1 month later for £5 grand. Now, Vicky is pretty much near. Well, when I say she'll be trading with me for pretty much the whole year. Come February, she's pretty much, I think, on deal number 20. And believe it or not, guys. Okay, so Sarita says, Arsh, this is a great offer. Will you be offering this remotely if we cannot get to the venue? I'll tell you what I will do, guys, and I'd only just thought about this now. We will do this on a live stream if there is sufficient demand. So if you say, Sarita, yes, I want to do it, but I can only do it on a live stream, yes, we will do the live stream. Pretty much like you're watching now, but you'll get to see us live off your computer from the comfort of your own home. So if you want to, I'm making that offer to you guys now. So Vicky is pretty much on deal number 20. She started off, when I met her, she was a photographer, a family and wedding photographer. She instantly gave up her job as a photographer and decided to concentrate on this, and she's made hundreds of thousands of pounds in best part of, well, where are we now? We're in October. She started in February, in the best part of 8 months. In just 5 months, Vicky has made 35 grand in sourcing fees. That's an average income of 7 grand. Trading deals has given me what I've always wanted. Fantastic income and the time to be with my family. Okay. So Chris has put, do you need to be employed for rent to rent for referencing? No, not at all. Because referencing can be done on the company. Okay, so Raja says, I'm in if we can do it on the live stream. So guys, I will do the live stream. So bear with me a second. Now, I'm going to introduce you to Gareth and Helen. Here are they on the wedding day. Here are these guys, again, that I started working with in Jan 2016. And within 4 weeks, we sold their first deal for £4 grand fee. This was Nightingale Road in Bolton. They sourced it through an estate agent. And so the cost that actually to them was zero. They found a deal. First, we went through what a deal looks like, how we appraise the deal, and how we sell it to the estate agent. The estate agent gave them a deal. They sold it to an investor on my database, and they made a £4 grand fee. Now, again, there's that link, guys, because remember, we are going to run the live stream. The live stream is going to be for the same price of £47. But we are going to be extremely limited on numbers. So if this is of interest to you, we're not making an outrageous claim that you have to, excuse me, you have to spend £1,000 with us. Within that day, you're going to get everything that you really want. So how to deal with estate agents, how to deal with landlords. More importantly, how to deal and how to assess the deal. Does that make sense? Okay, so Tony's put, can I put the link in the chat? So I'll put this in so everyone has got it. So NMD property investment. So if I send it to all, okay. So Sonny has asked, what time will the course run for? It'll either be a 9 till 4 or a 10 till 5, depending on where people travel from. I can imagine that the 10 till 5 will work better. So Shankari says, can we bring someone along? Shankari, if you want to bring someone along, you can do, but they'll have to pay the additional £47 for that person. just purely because that £47 is purely just covering your space at the hotel. Okay, John says, signed up, see you on the 19th. Susan, will the live stream be recorded? If I sign up, I can't be in Birmingham or watch live. Yes, I tell you what, the live stream will be recorded. Because just like we're recording this session tonight, the live stream will be recorded where she can still benefit. So yes, Susan, it can. So are there any other questions that we're, whilst we go through this? So someone said, can we put the link back up again? Because what we'll be going through. Now, someone said, well, how can we convince, here we go, what's this question? So Kenny's put, sorry, have all the sourcing deals been sold through your database as a JV? Now, Kenny, yes, so anything that gets sold through my database does work through a JV, but you've got to remember that when it comes through my database, I first of all will go through the lead to make sure it's definitely a deal. I'll appraise it for you, I'll make sure that, and then we'll put it out to my database, but you'll be seeing the whole process. So it's not a case of, okay, Arsh, here's a deal. I want you to do the work because I want you to learn how this is going to work, because eventually you won't need me. That's what I want to happen. I want you guys to be standing on your own 2 feet. So this is a deal that you're going to be doing yourself. This is the stuff that you're going to be doing. I'm going to be showing you how to build your own database. I'm going to be showing you all the tricks that you need to do to start moving forward. So Stuart has put, will we get access to view to the investor database? I'm not sure if I understand your question there. Will you get to see my investor database? Stuart, I'd like to say yes, but you'll see the deal go out to my database, and then you'll see the deal get sold to my database. Okay, so Susan put, are you also interested in property deals in Scotland? Now, if it's a deal, Susan, why not? People will buy all over the country, providing it's a deal. Now, ask yourself the same question, Susan. If a deal came up in Scotland and it made perfect financial and commercial sense to buy in Scotland, would you have bought it? Phil put, will you sell the recording at a discount to being there live? No. The recording will not be sold to anyone external. It will only be offered to the people that turn up to the record, that will only turn up to the event or subscribe to the live stream. So, do you have any workshops in London? Anthony, at the moment, no. But hopefully that's something that we may look for in the future. Simon says, Payment made, look forward to seeing you. Will you be there at the workshop, Arsh? Yes, I'll be delivering the content. So that's an added bonus for you. So you're going to get to spend the day with me and my team. We're going to show you. So Aid, who says, can you send me the link by email? Sorry, Aid, the best thing that I can do, my friend, at the moment is, if you can, just take the link down, get a piece of paper, write it down, stick it in your browser as soon as we've finished, and get yourself booked on. Do you need capital to do this? Jay's asked the question, do you need capital? Absolutely not. Because what you need determination, you need motivation. Now, I'm assuming everyone on this webinar has got this, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Now, how much motivation do you need to go out to talk to a letting agent? How much motivation do you need to talk to an estate agent? How much capital do you need to go out and do this? How much capital do you need to go out and talk to an estate agent or letting agent? You don't need anything, you need time. And once you've got time and you've gone out and spoke to an estate agent, first thing that you need to do is understand what you're looking for. And the only capital that you're required to do that is £47 and time to spend with me on the 19th of November. From there, you'll have all the tools to go out and do this and move forward, so that you're then going to start taking time to meet with estate agents and letting agents. Alexander says, are you interested in the deal in Flat Washington? Alexander, I'll give you my contact details in a minute if you want to give me a call after, and we can go from there. Will you provide software for the rent-to-rent at the workshop? Side, I'm not sure what you mean by that question. If you want to give me a call after. Software in respect of when you say software, you talk about contracts, etc. Okay, so Shankari says, when's the next rent-to-rent masterclass? I'm running the next full rent-to-rent workshop in February. We did one, we completed it today. Okay, so Tony Davis says, I can't get the link to work. Okay, let me just quickly do this then, guys. So cancel. And I'm going to copy this link because someone's... I'm going to copy this link, and bear in mind that I'm on Mac. I've gone through Safari and it works. And that's exactly the same link, Tony. So Jonathan says, are you coming to Northern Ireland? I've got no intention of coming to Northern Ireland, Jonathan, but believe it or not, the concept remains the same. This can work in Northern Ireland. This can work in Scotland, because believe it or not, guys, this is not rocket science. What you're doing is we're going to be talking to estate agents. We're going to be talking to estate agents. We're going to be talking to letting agents. Now, the only difference is that obviously, when you're dealing with, the only legislation is when you're dealing with rent to rent, you may want to look at the tenancy legislation just to make sure that that changes. Now, Douglas says, how many people will be on the training day? Admittedly, Douglas, there's going to be, excuse me, the best part 50 people there on the day. It's an exceptional offer of £47 to come and spend the day with me, so that we can train you as to what we do, so that pretty much you guys can go off and do this. You can bring some deals in, we can both make some money. Okay, so Mr. Panu says, I'll be out of the country, so recording of live stream will be good. How do you subscribe to the live stream? All you've got to do, Mr. Panu, is copy that link, stick it into your web browser, and away you go. So clear as put, if I pass a deal from an estate agent to your investors, does your investor then liaise with the estate agent direct to conclude the sale? When would I get paid? Now, Claire, a couple of things that we need to do. We need to make sure that the position is secure first. So there's a couple of things that we need to say to the estate agent to make sure that you don't get cut out the centre. And it's a great question, because if you put it out to an investor database like mine, you know, there will be some sharks in that database, which means that they will try and cut you out the centre. That's why we get paid first. I always get paid a reservation fee first, which means that if they do try and speak to the estate agent, let them carry on, because we've been paid and we'll be putting them in contact with one another. So Sarita says, Arsh just signed up for the live stream, looking forward to it. So, okay, if you're ever in London, I'll be absolutely help you to assist in any way, Mr. Ali. Okay, Lubna, if you want to give me a call later on. When you flip, shall you look at the bedrooms or a hotel look or family house look? Charles says, when you flip, shall you do the look of the bedrooms, a hotel look or family house look? Now, Charles, shall I let you into a little secret? You don't touch the property whatsoever. You don't even stage the property. All you do, you find the deal and you sell it. Okay, so Chris has put, Arsh, you mentioned that you're doing some talks in London this week. Are they available to attend? Yes, in actual fact, they are, but they're more towards funding issues. Now, I'm doing 2 talks at the UKCF, which is UK Crowdfunding Association, and that's actually in Shoreditch. Chris, if you want to have a chat with me, you can give me a call tomorrow and I can show you through that. Now, Syed has come back and goes, Arsh, important question, please. Is the workshop anything to do with becoming a property consultant? Well, Syed, yes, it is, because when you're a property investor, when you become a trader, you're a consultant, because what you're doing, you're putting imagine there's 3 people involved in transaction, A, B, and C. A being the owner, C being the investor, and you being B in the centre, almost like a mini estate agent. So you are a consultant, which means that B is taking the property from A, passing it on to C, and you're get paid in the centre. So Phil says, do we provide any documentation on this workshop? Phil, there will not be any documentation required, but like I said, we'll be going through all that, so don't worry. Now, Syed says, hopefully this can work in London, more importantly in around my area in Romford. Now, Syed, shall I let you into my little secret? I took a guy to the name of JC. And we started training him in February 2015, shortly before my father passed away. Now, I met up again with him today at my rent-to-rent workshop. In 18 months, how many deals do you reckon he's done in Croydon? So I'd have a little think about that. He did 25 deals, 25 rent-to-rent deals. People say this cannot work in London. I say, if anything, it works the best in London because there's more pain, there's more motivation, there's more debt, there's more outgoings, there's the higher cost of living. The pain exists in London greater than everywhere in no other. Okay, so Shankara says, do you teach how to speak to the sellers? Exactly, because remember, there's three people involved. The seller, the buyer, and you. You are the pinnacle point because you need to take the deal off the seller and you need to present it in a format to the buyer. Now, if you don't know how to teach or speak to the buyer, you're not going to be able to make this work. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Rajesh says, hi Arsh, I'm an estate agent, would this benefit me as well? Now Rajesh, if anything, if you come there, my friend, I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to be inundated with offers to try and buy a deal. So especially if you're only estate agents or if you work for the estate agent, I'd love to work with you. So yeah, it'd be great. Okay, so Sat says, let Tony know that you have to use the correct upper stroke lower case letters. Okay. So Daniel put, is your reservation fee the same with your sourcing fee? Yes, it is, Daniel. So can this strategy be applied anywhere, even if we live outside the UK? Yes, is the honest answer. Because remember, when you're you're associating yourself with an estate agent, you don't physically have to go and visit every property. A lot of the stuff is all done online, believe it or not. Now, for argument's sake, Washington is about 4 hours away from me. I haven't even seen the property, but I've appraised it as a deal. So, Raja says, hi Arsh, will we get a repeat of the live stream access of the day if we're unable to attend? Yes, the live stream will be recorded and it will be sent out to all the people that attend, whether that be in person or via the live stream. Okay, so quickly. So Chris says, do you need to be regulated to be a sourcing agent? There are a couple of bodies that you need to be associated with. So for argument's sake, one of them would be HMRC to make sure, because technically speaking, you're acting as a mini estate agent because you're marketing properties on behalf of the owner. And then you need to be part of stuff like the redress scheme. If you're going to be doing rent to rent, they'll be part of the property ombudsman. You could even be part of, like, well, not governing bodies, but associated bodies, such as the RLA, the NLA. They're always good bodies to be a part of because all this builds credibility. So Phil says, will I be able to implement this strategy fully? I don't understand why not, Phil, because what you'll be getting is pretty much you'll be getting everything that you need to go off and do this the very next day. Sonny, okay. Sonny says actually he hasn't received my book, but my office sent it out to you a while back. Sonny, if you go, I'll tell you what, my friend. Well, let's carry on with the rest of the presentation. I'll give you my contact number shortly, and then if you can give me a call either tomorrow, we can arrange either for another book to be sent out to you, but that did get sent out. So, can you afford not to do this? Because for the sake of £47, what happens if you don't do it? What happens if you don't do anything? You won't have to worry about anything. You won't have to worry about learning anything new. You won't have to worry about taking action. You won't have to worry about getting out of your comfort zone. which means that your life will not change, which means that your frustrations at work will still remain, which means that you'll still have to suffer through the commute every day, and you'll have to accept that you have limited choices. Because don't you owe it to yourself to at least give it a try? For the sake of £47, you're giving yourself the opportunity to learn these secrets at no risk to you at all, to grab this outrageous discount, and all you have to do is click the link below. So remember, guys, there's two ways of actually getting through to this. So I hadn't actually thought about doing the live stream, but tonight you guys have inspired me to go off and do it. So yes, we'll set up the live stream for you. And in order to get access, in an ideal world, I would love for you to be there in person, because there's nothing better. There's nothing better for me to meet you in person, to network, get to meet you guys, see what you're all about, and also get to see what part of your personality is going to fit best to which strategy. Now, I'm going to say thank you for taking the time to be on this webinar. It's on my hope that you now understand how you can make a fortune in property without buying a house. Now, if you're smart, hungry and motivated, you can do this. Because what I will do now is, I've got my mobile number, you've even got my email address. More than welcome to give me a call either a little later on this evening, or if not, in the morning, if you want to send me an email. I'll start arranging which venue it's going to be in Birmingham, and also I'll start setting up details. I'll start sending out emails confirming which format you'd like to attend. If you can be there in person, it would obviously be of greater benefit. We get to meet, we get to see, we get to have a chat, and it's going to be myself there in person as well. We are going to be limited on numbers, so if you are coming in person, I'd hopefully expect you to. If you are hopefully coming in person, I'd expect you to try and book on sooner rather than later, because we're not going to do a massive crowd on this. I want to be able to show you guys a great secret that has brought me to financial success. You guys can do it. I've taught lots of people this year how to do it. Now you're going to get it at a fraction of the cost. Okay, so Susan said, sorry, I'm just having a look. And someone has put, I'd love to meet you someday, Arsh, you're a true inspiration to follow. I'm sorry, I can't see who's wrote that. Okay, sorry. Sarita said that, well, to be fair, Sarita, it'd be lovely to meet you. Hopefully that I'm going to meet you one day too. Someone's just asked, can you put the link back up? And I'm happy to. So, are there any other questions? Well, so I think we've finished slightly earlier than anticipated. Are there any other questions? I believe I've answered them all, which is quite a first for me. Just so that you know, this week, guys, there's going to be a couple of deals out. There's going to be some lease option deals. There's going to be some rental. Well, is it going to be a rent deal? There's one that's going out tomorrow, which is a below market value refurbishment deal. There's a HMO opportunity going out on Tuesday. There's a lease option opportunity going out on Wednesday. And these are all deals that I've appraised over the weekend, not to mention the flat in Washington. Now, one of the guys said that they wanted to have a chat about the flat. Let me just have a look. Alex. So Alex, can I have your number, please? So Alex, you've got my mobile number there. If you want to have a chat about the flat, well, they're happy to take a call shortly after the webinar. Okay, so Chris, if you're interested in the course, so Sideport will the workshop be divided in two parts, like AM and PM. We will be doing two sessions, a morning and an afternoon, but you will have to attend for both parts. You can't just turn up for the afternoon, or you can't just turn up for the morning, because that will disrupt the flow of the whole day. Chris has asked, what percentage is considered What percentage is considered a good BMV range? Now, Chris, in an ideal world, everyone would want a minimum of 25 to 30%. But believe it or not, Chris, not everything is about BMV. Now, if you can show that the property is of decent value, a lot of the stock that we sold recently has been at full market value because we can show how the deal works financially. Babs, unfortunately, the live stream is at the full price. Phil says, if we watch it live, do we get the recording as well? Yes, that's everyone that attends, whether that be in person or on the live stream, will get the recording of the live stream. Okay, so Raj says, hi, Arsh, thanks for the webinar. Really looking forward to meeting you again at the one-day workshop. Rajesh, really looking forward to meeting you. So Shankara said, will the payment link be open for a few days? It will probably be open for the rest of this week. And Raj says, will you be offering your 12-month mentoring or coaching program? At that event, Raj, what we're going to be doing, we're just going to be talking about the sourcing process. So, you know, we'll have a chat there if you want to have a further talk about further education. Do we need to source rent-to-rent properties only where you live, or can you do it remotely anywhere in the country? Now, Alfred, the beautiful thing is that because you're sourcing it, it can be anywhere in the country. Which means that, for argument's sake, if you're saying that, let's just say that you're saying that you're based in, I don't know, let's say, but let's say that you're saying that you're based in London. You can find deals up in Manchester, you can find deals up in Scotland. Now, I've got one student that is actually based in London. Within the first week of dealing with me or working with me, he found his first deal in Cardiff. And he decided to keep that deal, even though I said to him that it may be a bit too far to manage. But he found an agent in that location, and it cost him nothing to do. So I think I've answered all the questions there, guys. So guys, if there's anyone that wants to have a quick chat, I'm more than happy to have a chat at the end of the webinar. So I'm going to be on my phone for the next 10 or 15 minutes. But on that note, I'd like to thank you all very much for being on the webinar. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and let's see where we progress from here. You know, it's a fantastic offer that I've put out today. Fantastic offer that I put out today, and it's probably the only time that I will put out this offer. So if you think it's for you, now's the time for you to take. Now's the time, because you're not going to get it for £47 ever again. So guys, on that note, I wish you all the very best, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care, good night, God bless.